right, testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. All right, good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is doing great today. Okay, so we just got the live started. And remember, you can ask questions on this call. So we will be looking at the chat. So if it's looking blurry, you're probably using a cell phone, or you need to change the resolution settings on your device. Okay, just give it a minute. Okay, just waiting for some more students to jump on the call. Okay, so we start promptly at 9 o'clock. All right, 1 minute. Now this class is recorded, but it's best that you log on in case you need to ask questions and stuff. We're trying to answer questions live on the call. Right. Can you guys hear me? If you could hear me, put 111 in the chat. If you could hear me, put 111 in the chat. Right. Yeah, can you guys hear me? If you could hear me, put 111 in the chat. Yeah, sound message. Yeah, if you could hear me, put 111 in the chat. Trying to make sure that we have that clear. Okay, great. Okay, thanks. Awesome. So hey guys, so good morning. We're gonna do comprehension today. Last week we did a really nice comprehension, and we didn't just answer the questions, we did it in a way that we can tackle all other comprehension exercises, right? Okay, so I'm not just gonna be here just to read the passage and answer the questions. These are the things that you would do as a student. You can carry these skills forward to do any other comprehension. Okay, so yeah, without further ado, let's go. So we have here comprehension. It says in section 2, and as the essay paper stands, okay, section 2 has well, there are a total of 6 tasks on the essay paper. Task 1, this is an essay paper here, a past paper. Not a past paper booklet, an actual past paper, meaning that the student would have actually done this before. Right? So task 1 in section 1 will be spelling. Okay. Task 2 in section 1 will be punctuation and capitalization. We'll do this next week. Task 3 in section 1 will be grammar. And we did a lot of videos on grammar. Right? Check the YouTube channel, all are recorded. And section 2, task 4 would be comprehension. Okay, would be comprehension. So let's say here, task 4, non-fiction. What does non-fiction mean? Right? So I'll write in the chat, non-fiction means things, or I should say non-fiction refers to things that are real. Okay? Put a 111 if you understand that. So fiction refers to things that are not real or made up. Okay, fiction refers to things that are not real or made up. All right. Okay. So non-fiction would be things that are not made up. Okay, things that are real. So these are actually real life things going on here. Right. Okay. Yeah, I see that one in the chat. Great. So let's read the instructions. which is the most important thing. Read the passage on food safety on this page and answer questions 19 to 28. I'll say that again. Read the passage on food safety on this page and answer questions 19 to 28. Good. So what I'm going to do, I am going to read this twice. Then I'm going to look at the questions. These are the questions here, and answer them accordingly. Okay? All right. So let's read it twice. And if you're wondering why we should read it twice, I always say read something twice because it allows you to get a chance to really get familiar with the information. Okay? A student said, "Sir, is that why people read the newspapers all day long?" Could be. Could be. You know, sometimes even adults, you read something and you kind of have to read it twice so you could really understand what's going on. You know, not everyone could read something one time and just get it. So sometimes you need to read your work more than once. That's why we need to revise our work. Okay, that's why it's important to revise your work. You're becoming more and more familiar with your work. So let's go. Let's read this twice. Yeah. So it's entitled Food Safety. Food Safety. So it says, we have to make a special effort to keep our food safe. Many diseases such as cholera and gastro, in inverted commas, can easily come from our food if it is prepared with unclean water. Diseases can also be spread when food is stored where rats can contaminate it. Let us discuss some of the things we can do to make sure that our food is safe for eating. Right? Sounds pretty interesting. And sometimes when you're reading the comprehension in a test, in an exam, they come with some pretty exciting and interesting stuff. And sometimes you forget here in a test. And if you enjoy reading, well, you're actually having fun in the test. Okay? It's fun to read new and exciting things. Let's continue. So this new paragraph is entitled Shopping for Food. The title of the entire passage is Food Safety, but the title of this paragraph is entitled Shopping for Food. All right? It says here in line 5, okay, one of the main things to remember on a shopping trip is to buy cold food last. That is in bold words, okay? I guess we'll find out why. And get it home fast. When we go to the grocery, it is best to buy all the dry goods like peas and rice first before going to the cold items so that frozen goods like meat or milk products do not thaw out before we get home. If this happens, bacteria begin to grow in the food and can harm us when we eat it. To prevent this, as soon as we are through shopping, we should return home and put all the cold things in the refrigerator. Be sure to store packages of raw meat, poultry, and fish on plates in the fridge so their juices would not drip on other food. Okay, quite a lot of information going on there, but don't worry, we'll read it again. Okay, so just a note, we started on line 5. How do we know that this is line 5? Well, there's a little 5 there, and most of the times, okay, when we have a passage or a poem or comprehension, we have these multiples of 5 on your left hand side to show you the numbering of the line. So if this is line 5 here, this is line 6, line 7, line 8, line 9, line 10, line 11, and now the second paragraph is going to start on line 12. Okay, so let's go. Oh, sorry, third paragraph. Sorry, third paragraph is going to begin on line 12. So let's go. It says, while shopping, it is good to check that packaged foods are of high quality. Frozen foods should be rock solid. Cans that have been damaged no longer provide a safe barrier from bacteria. We can be poisoned by eating food contained in such cans. Okay, alrighty then. Okay. Let's continue on. Almost done. Be sure to always look carefully at labels on foodstuffs for the expiry date. That is, the date after which it is not safe to eat the food. Okay, we have a picture of a food item here, and best before 04/2017. Okay, all right, that definitely expired. We'll get into that. Okay, preparing food. This is the last paragraph. The last paragraph is entitled Preparing Food. The first rule of thumb in preparing food is to wash hands thoroughly with soap before starting. This will break the transmission of pathogens or germs from one person to another. Remember to also wash all fruits, vegetables, and ground provision before cooking. Last line. Before starting to cook, our kitchen counters must be wiped and cleaned. Bacteria and other germs can live in kitchen towels, sponges, and cloths. These must be washed often. And this is taken or adapted from Healthy Home, Healthy Communities, an environmental health manual for use by your family and community. So this is actually taken from a real place. This is taken from an article or a magazine. I'm not really familiar with the exact source of information, okay, but you can definitely search this or Google this and it's going to come up, because this is non-fiction. This is actually a real life thing. So all this information wasn't made up. They actually took it from a real life article or magazine or book, and they brought it for you to read. This is very important information, like for real, for your health. It is very, very important. Okay, awesome, right? So I see some people now coming onto the call. If you want to ask a question, you can subscribe and don't forget to leave a like on the video. Okay, it is recorded, but we have it live, so in case you want to ask a live question, we can answer that live on the call. So don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. So we are gonna leave the questions for now, and we're actually gonna read it over again, so you can really become familiar with this information. Okay, it's not gonna take a lot of time in the exam. Okay, to do this, you are actually going to read it faster the second time around, because you are familiar with it by reading it the first time. Okay, so let's go. It's entitled Food Safety. We have to make a special effort to keep our food safe. Many diseases such as cholera and gastro can easily come from our food if it is prepared with unclean water. Diseases can also be spread when food is stored where rats can contaminate it. Let us discuss some of the things we can do to make sure that our food is safe for eating. Okay, so that was the first paragraph. All right, that's the first paragraph. Right? Shopping for food. Second paragraph. One of the main things to remember on a shopping trip is to buy cold food last and get it home fast. That kind of rhymes. When we go to the grocery, it is best to buy all the dry goods like peas and rice first, before going to the cold items, so that frozen goods like meat or milk products do not thaw out before we get home. If this happens, bacteria begin to grow in the food and can harm us when we eat it. To prevent this, as soon as we are through shopping, we should return home and put all the cold things in the refrigerator. Be sure to store packages of raw meat, poultry, and fish on plates in the fridge so their juices would not drip on other food. While shopping, it is good to check that packaged foods are of high quality. Frozen foods should be rock solid. Cans that have been damaged no longer provide a safe barrier from bacteria. We can be poisoned by eating food contained in such cans. Okay? Be sure to always look carefully at labels on foodstuffs for the expiry date. That is, the date after which it is not safe to eat the food. Last paragraph, preparing food. Well, second to last paragraph. The first rule of thumb in preparing food is to wash hands thoroughly with soap before starting. This will break the transmission of pathogens or germs from one person to another. Remember to also wash all fruits, vegetables, and ground provision before cooking. Finally, before starting to cook, our kitchen counters must be wiped and clean. Bacteria and other germs can live in kitchen towels, sponges, and cloths. These must be washed often. And you have the picture here of a can. Interesting that it's kind of bent up, and it says best before 04. What month is the fourth month? January, February, March, April. Best before April 2017. Right? So, yeah. I guess we okay. If you're okay, put 111 in the chat. Okay, so we have read the passage, and we're gonna go to the questions now. Now, the thing about it, right, guys? The thing about it, when you go to the questions are gonna ask you stuff, right, about the passage, and you are going to have to listen to this. You're gonna have to refer back to the passage. Okay. You're going to have to go back into the passage. And it will be really helpful if you know where everything is located, where all the words are. So you are going to go through the questions quite quickly because you are now familiar with the information. Right? By the way, if the screen is looking blurry, it depends on your device settings. Just give it a minute. It should clear up. Okay, if it's looking blurry, I know that happens based on people have different devices and stuff. All right, so just give it a second. So yeah, so number 19, right? So it says, based on the passage, name 2 ways in which diseases can be spread to our food. Let's read that again. Number 19, based on the passage, name 2 ways in which diseases can be spread to our food. And just to show you, they have part 1 for one answer and 1 line for that answer, and part 2 for your second answer and 1 line for the second answer. And that is going to be 2 marks. So basically, you're going to get a mark for putting an answer here and a mark for putting an answer here. If you only put 1 answer, well, guess what? You're going to get 1 mark. So a little bit of exam technique. It seems simple, but you have to be mindful of these things as well, right? So the question is, based on the passage, name 2 ways in which diseases can be spread to our food. So do we have any ideas on that? Name 2 ways in which diseases can be spread to our food. And I'll give you guys a couple of seconds to try that out. Sure, no problem.